go.
Get rid of it! Get rid of it!
Mills, not that time. Leonard on the follow.
Slam, Kawhi Leonard. Wow, he came out of nowhere and hammered it home. Get him moving! Get him moving!
Spurs trying to take the commanding 3 games to 1 edge and go home in Game 5. Pass inside, Dion, and Duncan for the finish. Wonderful team basketball we've seen in a long, long time.
Spurs by 18. Everybody on their feet at the AT&T Center. Jumper good. 7 for 7 in the fourth quarter for Tony Parker. It's 96-76. It's time to celebrate, San Antonio.
San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
What is up? What is up? Are officially back.
My all good.
The cruise, the time off, the NBA had to break the news today and bring us back together for this horse crap of a trade that went through. Before we get too deep into the conversation, real quick, I gotta give roses to, for who they're due. And Mr. Ian right here, he called this since July 1st, was it? July 1st?
Yeah, that's the date that I'm claiming.
Hey man, look, man, I stand strong in what I believe in, and when I'm wrong, and I'll eat some crow. But yeah, man, you got that. You got it. And I will say nobody thought the Bucks will land Damian Lillard. They weren't even in the talks. So to me, that is just the craziest thing. But yeah, I'm gonna let you have the floor for a little bit and let you vent.
Sure.
And I might even just do the floor and just get off of the screen for a little bit.
That's fine. Yo, how's my mic, by the way? I just want to confirm. I still haven't received what I needed to get a professional setup like you.
Yeah, you're good right now. You definitely sounded clear.
Okay. All right, cool. So, yeah, I mean, first things first, I don't think anybody saw the Bucks, especially because I think the pairing of Dame and Giannis is essentially too good to be true. Oh, what's up, Jesus? Yeah, Jesus, if you want to get on here and talk some trash, be my guest. I think Carlos, right? We're open to people actually getting
so what
on.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually drop the link in the actual chat. So if you guys want to go ahead and jump in, you're more than welcome to. We're just gonna go ahead and get our thoughts across, and then I'm gonna do a little platform, so then let everybody know.
Cool.
All right, you're good to jump on. So
yeah, so going back, nobody saw Bucks because one, they're already a top team, and I don't know, it seemed like they already had the pieces, right? I mean, they had Drew Holiday, which was already good. They had Middleton. It didn't seem, I mean, everybody can improve, but like when you're at that level already, they don't make crazy tweaks like what they just did. So one, it's unexpected on that regard. And two, the pairing of a pure shooter with a pure post player, it just seemed like too good to be true. They're both all-stars. They're both, superstars in their own regards. It's just, this conceptually it sounded too good to be true. That's why, other random teams, like what I thought was the Raptors would make sense. He would be the face. Siakam would be the second, like he would be the 1B, and then you have the rest. And the Heat.
that Raptors though. So what I've been hearing is they were like contenders on that, but
yeah.
One, when they heard that when Dave said he wanted to go to Miami, they pulled away. And not only to that, they also, Portland, Cronin was asking for Siakam. So
yeah,
it would have been like no point for that move.
So I don't know if you saw or heard, but what's his name? Shams. This is crazy. And I witnessed this with my own eyes. I'm sure there'll be articles about it later, maybe some context, but Shams tweeted. It was like maybe a minute after Woj that the Raptors traded for Dame. And then he deleted the tweet. So I'm sure there's a website that you can retrieve deleted tweets. So I'm sure it can be researched. He deleted that tweet and then replaced the tweet. So I feel like the Raptors were close. And that's
Yes,
why
so
Shams,
they were 100%. It's just like
yeah,
I said. So Dame was literally like, if I get traded over there, so that it was like like you're saying, like that trade was processed. He was gonna be a Raptor, but Dame literally said, I want to go to Miami, and then the Raptors were just like, I'm pulling out, and then that's when this whole situation went through.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. I'm still in shock, man. I called so many people called me and then I called so many people and I was just on the phone silent. Cause this is and it just reminds me of the Kawhi situation where like a left field team or even the Paul George going to Clippers, like it's just left field, just complete left field. You're just like,
Or
what is
Paul
going
George
on?
OKC. I feel like that was
Yeah,
so good as well.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm not gonna even lie. It does suck because I really did want Dame, and the thing is, we had him, but I even look. So I pulled up the trade. So I pulled it up so we could actually go ahead and kind of touch on it a little bit before we get too
All
deep and
right.
getting people on here. So I do have the link in the chat. I'm gonna press send once we're both, finishing our piece. Um, so everybody can start, joining the stuff. And right here, your boy Jesus, yeah, poor Holiday, 100%. Um,
Yo,
he literally, so yesterday, he literally said, I'm going to be a Buck for life. And then the next day, boom, gone. So he kind of got the Marcus Smart treatment. Um,
the Marcus Smart treatment, the Isaiah Thomas treatment, etc.
yeah, honestly, his best revenge would be coming to the Heat, and we could whoop on the Bucks. But all right.
So
Besides
that,
that,
yeah.
I have this pulled up. We're gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick, um, so we can see. So, because look, this right here is what irks me. This what irks me. All right, because I already know where you're gonna go with this. Before we even get too deep into this right here, where I know you said it earlier about how we didn't have the assets, we didn't all this stuff. The Blazers literally got one first round pick. Who the heck is this guy?
Who are you looking at?
This guy right here. You see my mouse? Kamara?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's brand new drafted.
exactly. Who is that guy? You got DeAndre Ayton and Drew Holiday.
Yep.
You got your first round pick. Makes sense. I understand. And then you got the unprotected Milwaukee swaps. Bro, this to me pissed me off so much. And the reason why, so I've been saying, this was literally a fleecing to, a big middle finger to Pat Riley and the Heat organization, this trade that they processed through. Because, first of all, they needed this third team, which we needed a third team to make this even possible go through. So the Heat were literally giving Tyler Hero 2 first-round picks. 2, not 1, but 2 first-round picks in a package deal. So that means they didn't release what the package deal was. And that's just how Pat Riley is. He's gonna give you a little bit. He's not gonna give you too much info on that.
Yeah.
But it was literally a package deal. And this was the first time around. So after that, yeah, there was no talking. There was no, because at that point, Cronin was like, I'm not dealing with you. Like, I don't want to make a deal. But anyway, so you had Tyler Hero, 2 first-round picks in a package deal, which could have consisted of Jovic and Yakis. I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. Or it was those two with Tyler, or it was Tyler, Martin, and I believe Kyle Lowry. Now, that is what they're saying the package was with those 2 first rounds. So essentially, what we got here is Cronin chose Drew Holiday over Tyler Hero. Mind you, that's pretty much what Cronin did. And then, because the only people who really lost anybody was the Bucks, who moved. Well, I mean, the Trailblazers did move Nurkic, but come on, it's Nurkic. Like, he
Yeah, he's nothing. He's nothing.
the Bucks gave up Allen, Nazir, and Keon Johnson, which, of course, these are all intangibles.
Yeah.
Which, if you are looking for intangibles, why wouldn't you go for the Heat? I'm sorry. I know I sound biased because I'm a Heat fan, but like, we build intangible players. We damn near went to the finals with intangible players. You know, to me, so it doesn't make any sense. It really does.
So I'm thinking, so Holiday's obviously getting traded. We already know this. This is like a fact. This is
Right.
probably going to happen by Friday.
Which
Depending
is
on
even
how,
pisses me off even more because you're like you got rid of you pretty much got nothing, and you gave up your star because you're gonna get rid of it, but you got Aiden.
because they only want picks. At the end of the day, they only want picks and Aiton. Aiton is, to me, I think that was like a good upgrade. Obviously, he's
For
young.
them, yeah, I agree with
Yeah, I mean, he's young and he's a center, which there's not many good centers. So Dame. So the question is, what is Drew Holiday going to turn into? I think it's going to turn into a pick and a pick swap. Maybe if there's a bidding war, because I think he is a hot commodity. He is a veteran. He can, bro, like the Heat might start bidding for him, honestly.
Yeah.
I can see Philadelphia bidding for them. You know, I think.
I had some time to process this, and this is actually going to surprise you what I'm going to say.
All right.
I really think Pat Riley is never going. Does this show read the chat? Yes, I read the chat. I read the chat, Josh. We read the chat, Josh. We read it. We see you. We're just trying to get through our thoughts before we start letting people out here. Look, Josh is already starting. Look at this.
I want to know when he's going to get on.
All right. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sending the link so people can start setting themselves up and getting ready. So that's in the chat. So this right here, this is the link. If you guys want to jump on, go ahead. You can go ahead and click that link and join up. As we're going to continue, you may be in the back room. So while you're in the back room, just wait up while we, get our stuff going, and then we'll go ahead and throw you in one at a time, and let you speak your piece. And, I brought my armor today. I got some other stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm ready for it. So where was I? What was I talking about right now? Oh, so Drew Holiday. So Pat Riley, he is the type of person he's very, what's the word I'm looking for? I talked to my boy Wayne about this earlier. He was one of the first people I called when this dropped. And if I was
stubborn,
I don't want to say stubborn, but very prideful. So after this runaround and craziness, did you see Josh's name right now? Did you just see Josh's name right now? Are you kidding me?
He's ready.
Yeah, Carlos is rival. That's what he says. Anyways, Pat Riley is a very prideful person, and he will never do a deal with Portland again. Like, I see him, unless it's like an out of this world deal, he's never going to talk to that organization again. The one organization that I believe that can benefit from a player like Drew Holiday, we mentioned him earlier when we were talking about Paul George. I really think Drew Holiday will be an asset to a young team who needs a veteran. OKC, man. I can see him going on OKC.
Yeah, that is potential for sure. I think that is potential to happen. I do think they'll be outbid. I don't think Presti wants him more than other teams want him.
Yeah, okay, I can see that 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it's going to be a bidding war for teams that are hard pressed. Like, who needs a guard? I mean, I think, again, Heat can really use it. Sixers can. A lot of East teams, man. A lot of teams in the East, honestly. Dude, even the Celtics could do something crazy there, because Celtics went from being like the threat in the East to like, all right, now they're looking kind of weak.
Yeah.
After all these other moves.
What's his dude's name? The unicorn.
I do not care about Porzingis anymore.
Yeah,
the fact that Dame is in the Bucks, like, am I supposed to care about Porzingis?
Another team that no one's talking about that actually made some moves with picking up what's homie from Brown from Denver is the Pacers, man. Like, the Pacers could
but they have Tyrese. I don't know what they're gonna do. I feel like I think they need to wait a year because he was injured last year, like half the time. I don't know if they're in the running for Holiday today. I don't know.
All right. Well, all right. So you want to start letting people in? Let's go ahead. Let's let Josh.
Yeah, I see Lewis in here.
Yeah.
I see Josh. Yeah, let's get some fireworks, bro. I want to argue.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Should I leave the trade info on there in case you need to refer to it?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's add him to the stage. What up, Josh? Welcome.
He's
our
driving.
First official guest. Our first official guest. Yeah, he's
Yo,
driving.
what's going on? What's going on, fellas? What's going on this fine Wednesday night? What's going on?
What's good? What's good?
It's a
bro?
good Wednesday, huh?
It's a fantastic Wednesday. Listen, I was just at home, relaxing, and next thing I know, boom, I see a tweet from Shams or Shams. I'm not sure which one he goes by, but I see a tweet, and it said, Damian Lillard traded to the Raptors. I said, hold on, what's
So
going on
you saw
here?
it too.
I saw the tweet. Listen, I saw the tweet. I opened up Twitter, and it said this tweet has been deleted. So I'm thinking maybe it was a spam account or one of those fake accounts.
Yep.
Next thing I know, my Twitter is just boop, 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 blowing up, bro. I'm seeing pictures of Damian Lillard with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I'm just in shock. My first reaction was just shock. Next thing I know, not even 2 seconds later, Ian Garcia calls me. And we just stood on the phone quiet. We didn't even really talk to each other. We just
Yo, we
on the
did
phone.
it.
I wish you guys would have been at my job. So I'm doing training all week. I wish you guys would have seen me or been a fly on that wall because I'm literally just sitting there. We're talking all day, talking about anime, talking about all this at work, having a great time. My face went from smiling to I just sat back and I'm like, I'm not going to get the end of this. And I just stood there quiet and silent. Everybody asking me, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, Damian's a buck. Yeah.
Hey, he had nothing to do with it. Yo, all right. Did you guys see the comments that his agent was still making after the fact? Josh,
Yep.
did you see that at all?
I haven't really seen anything.
Oh my God. So Dame's agent was like saying stuff like, hey, I tried my best, but we'll work with what we got. It is what it is. He's saying this after Dame got traded to the Bucks.
Yep. He also said Miami did everything they could, but it's hard to make a deal when both sides can't come to the same agreement.
Yeah.
That is
Yo,
exactly
so my point is he's acting like a sore loser, but is this not a win?
You know
like-
what though? I really don't think it is, man. They're not gonna win, man. They're not gonna win.
Okay, Carlos, why?
Let's get into it.
So, from your perspective, why you're saying they're not going to win? I'm not following your train of thought. Like
Okay.
the way I see it before you go is like I'm looking at a guy in Giannis who's already won an NBA Finals. Now their whole team is predicated on 5-out offense. Giannis has the ball, like you said. He's somewhat of a ball dominant player. He's gonna have the ball. He's gonna slash to the rim. He's gonna kick out to open threes, and that's how their offense kind of flows, right? But they're also predicated mostly on defense. Now you lose a little bit of defense with Drew Holiday, but I'm not following your train of thought as far as this somehow makes them worse. You're gonna have to explain that to me.
So here's, and this is something that they were dealing with last season. That is why they lost the way they did. So that season when Milwaukee won the championship, the one thing that the others, not Giannis, but the others did very well is something that Steph Curry does so well is move without the ball. Now, Dame has never had he's never been in the
Luxury.
where or the luxury where he had to learn how to move out like without the ball. So with having a player like Giannis who needs the ball in his hands to create any type of offense, whether it is just passing, whether it is just taking it to the rack, so on and so forth, you need that, especially at that position, that exact position, point guard position. You need that position to be fluent, which is something like Drew Holiday was, which is why, yeah, they lose defense, but they lose the mobileness without the ball when they lost Drew Holiday. Whereas I'm not saying Dame can't do it. Dame can obviously he can adjust. He's an all-star, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Now, who knows? Maybe they go off this season, it doesn't work out, then the next, because they have Dame for 4 years now. So that this first year, I feel like it's going to be one of those where Kawhi sense where, oh yeah, this is our first year together, me and Paul George, we're gonna just feel it out and try to work it out. And if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. I feel like that's the mentality that they're gonna have to approach this season because Dame has never had to be that number 2 guy, which against Giannis, as good as Damian Lillard is, he has to be that number 2 in this team.
Yeah, but I can see where you're coming from. But first of all, in this league, you're not gonna win as a number 1 option when you're a point guard unless your name is Stephen Curry. We've seen
100%.
tremendous point guards. We've seen tremendous point guards in the league. We've seen Chris Paul. We've seen, like I said, Curry. We've seen Damian try. We've seen Russell Westbrook try. You're not gonna win in the league when you're the number 1 option and you're the point guard on your team. That's number 1. So I'm not really concerned with Dame being a number 2 guy. Number 2.
Well, hold on.
That's probably the biggest problem the Bucks. Go ahead.
With everyone you just mentioned, they can move without the ball and create offense off the ball. Whereas Damian Lillard, like I said, he's never
not really.
do that.
That's not true. I mean, Russell Westbrook's not really creating anything off the ball. Even in his MVP years, neither was really Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a floor general. I mean, these guys are not. That's what makes Steph Curry different. That's what I mean, though. Steph Curry is like he's like a combo guard. He's like a shooting guard. But that's my point. It's like Damian Lillard's not gonna make. He's not gonna have a team where he's gonna take them to the finals and he'd be the number 1 option and they have a legitimate shot to win. I just don't think that in this current league, point guards can be the number 1 option on a team. I think you need to have a wing or a center or a big to be the number 1 option. I mean, we've seen that for a long time. But I think even still, losing Drew Holiday, I think this makes their offense so much better, like in so many ways. Number 1, Giannis doesn't have to have the ball to kind of create anything. That's really not his forte. And you're talking about a potential pick and roll game with Giannis and Dame who can shoot from literally 35 plus feet. So you're talking about guys who are going to have to defend a pick and roll from 35 feet.
I can see.
Go ahead.
This is what I'm saying. Like on paper, they look monstrous. But here's the thing: Giannis has never been in that position where he's always, and every time they start their offense, it starts through Giannis. So
You're not gonna do that no more.
Yeah, but that's an adjustment. That's gonna be a big adjustment for him. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be impossible, but
I think it's a relief. If I'm Giannis, I'm relieved.
I think it's a relief. Yeah, Giannis is a turnover magnet. You want the possession to end with him, not start with him.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, but like I would say I'm in between. I do think 100% undoubtedly, I'm just putting it out there. I think the Bucks are easily going to the finals. Like, I'm not even worried about nobody. That's my opinion, right? But I do not think they're gonna be champions. I still think it's gonna be a West team, probably the Nuggets. Barring injuries. I'm high off of them. I already spoke to Josh.
You won't see the Suns at all.
No, bro. They just got worse. In my opinion, I think they just got worse with Nurkic. Who is this man? I thought he was about to retire.
Well,
I thought he was about to go to the hospital on like bed rest.
They also got Grayson Allen.
He's a good defender. I don't see why. He's a good solid center.
Bro, Nurkic exists maybe. I don't know. I bet you pull it up. I bet money he played less games than Kawhi last season. Ain't no way, bro.
So he played less than Kawhi, so that means he didn't play at all.
Bro, he's injured. He has no offense. You're right. His defense is probably his best asset, but
when you have a Kevin Durant and you have a Bradley Beal, you have a Devin Booker, you don't have to do much but block shots.
You're 100% right, but the only counter argument I got with that is Nurkic is going to get his booty ate by Jokic, bro.
Yeah,
Jokic is going to tear him up. Are you kidding me?
But now here, Denver lost a lot of pieces that were key pieces to their team, depth-wise. Whereas this trade, which pisses me off even more, made the Suns deeper, in their bench. picking up Grayson
Yeah.
Allen is big. Because
It made
you
them
already
deeper.
have, 4 starters that can like just pretty much take over the game. They don't need to start
Yeah.
all together.
Nah, it made them deeper. It made them deeper. I just don't think they're deep enough. I think they're top heavy, and I also think they don't have. I do not see them crossing the line at all. Last year, what I saw was enough. Yo, Dill was saying "Ayo" to my comment.
It's a
Oh, or
deeper.
to deeper.
Yeah, lost his tongue on that shit. Oh
Yo,
man.
Gail Lewis here. But look, man, I have no faith in the Suns after what you can ask Josh. Last year, I was worried sick. I was texting Josh daily saying, bro, the Nuggets, man, I don't see them beating the Suns.
Yeah.
Then Booker
Definitely
played
agree with that.
bro, some of the best basketball I've seen in my life. Booker played the most flawless basketball. Flawless, bro.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant was still Kevin Durant. And they didn't do nothing. They didn't do anything. I don't see Heat going. And Beal, bro, Beal.
In a very long time play though. So it's like,
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you this. Kemba Walker was like dropping 30 every game as a Hornet, and then when he left, he was nothing.
yeah,
Why?
I feel
Because
you. I feel that.
when you're a guard on a scrub team, you're gonna get buckets. That's all Beal is. You know why his points are so high? Because he's on a scrub team.
Yeah, no, you're 100% on that.
He's just another Kemba Walker.
Saying
That's
is,
my opinion.
Poole is gonna go off this season. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, Poole 100%. He's gonna be my first round pick in
Okay.
fantasy.
Alright.
Josh, what are you saying?
Another thing is, before I was entered into the thing, you said that, the Blazers. You're perplexed at the idea that the Blazers preferred Drew Holiday and DeAndre Ayton over Tyler Hero. But the thing is, the thing is, they knew they were gonna flip Drew Holiday anyways, so they're gonna get more out of that. But also, I think the centerpiece was DeAndre Ayton. I don't think they were never interested in Tyler Hero. They have way too many guards. And they made that clear from the beginning that they were not interested in Tyler Hero. So the Heat, being stubborn as they are, just kept, this is what we're offering. They were never in the picture.
Yeah, they only made one offer, and then once Cronin wasn't even listening to
because they got nothing else. What else was? The only thing that was going to make them more appealing is if they offered Bam Adebayo. They had nothing else to offer except Tyler Hero and their new rookies that they got.
Yeah,
that's pure facts.
Martin, no, 100. I agree with that. But now this is my other sentiment to that. Is what are you going to get for Drew Holiday right now?
I think you get a pick at least for sure.
I think you get a pick and a swap or 2 picks. I don't think it's going to be one pick.
Second round, definitely not a first. I don't think
you could get a pick and a young player probably because he's going to contender.
Okay.
Drew is a first round pick player, in my opinion. Does anybody
absolutely
not agree with that? Yo, Carlos does not agree.
I don't.
How do you not agree? I'm talking we're talking about a contending team that is in contention for a championship to get a player of Drew Holiday's caliber defensively, a guy who can shoot and has experience, has won an NBA Finals before. Are you kidding me? Somebody like the Lakers.
He's a dream come true.
Some other team that's in contention, even the Nuggets or something like that. Are you kidding me? Hey, if I'm the Nuggets, I'm calling right now about Drew Holiday. Can you imagine?
Yeah. No, for real. Wow.
Yeah, no. Okay. So that would be scary. I don't want to see him on Denver. That would be scary. If he were to go to Denver, that would be scary. I would agree on that. But I don't know. He did take a big dip for me last season. Definitely, he did. And I don't know if that was injury wise or if that was, maybe it just wasn't working out in the Bucks. But
I feel that.
I feel like he did definitely. He took it, like you saw it, especially after that championship. He's on a decline right now. I do see that in Drew.
He's old. I get it.
I don't know. I personally wouldn't give up a first round for him.
How much?
I think somebody will.
How much of Giannis coming out last couple of days talking about, maybe I'll be with the Bucks or whatever, all the stuff he was saying, how much of that played into this trade, do you think?
Oh, 100%. Tampering. The Bucks.
How is that tampering?
No, tampering right now. Everybody.
The front office has to tamper. Players can do whatever.
Listen. If Miami got tampering for Kyle Lowry, they better get tampering for Damian freaking Lillard. That's ridiculous.
Wasn't Damian Lillard hanging out with Jimmy Butler in the offseason?
No, that was Donovan Mitchell. That was Donovan Mitchell.
No. I'm talking like Damian Lillard was somewhere with Jimmy Butler. I've seen him before, like this summer somewhere.
They were in the same. Yeah, I think it was Paris or something like. But they weren't together. They were. Damian was on his boat, and
All right.
Jimmy was just in the town.
Right.
They
You
were
trying to
saying,
tell me
"Oh,
that
they're-"
Jimmy Butler and Damian Lillard weren't texting, probably playing
Of
Call of
course,
Duty together?
100%.
Come on, man.
There was no photo, no evidence.
Who
That's what I'm saying.
cares? But Giannis just simply saying like, oh, if I, there's no guarantee I'll be on the Bucks in X amount of years. That's not tampering.
Oh, not Giannis, but definitely the organization tampering.
No, that's not
But
tampering.
how? Do you know what the definition of tampering is?
Oh, 100%.
Not tampering.
And I agree. I think they should be fully investigated.
Oh my God.
They should null and void this trade. That's what I believe.
Nah,
Guess
it'll
what? If
just
they
be-
nullify the trade, guess what? Damian Lillard will go to the Raptors, and if he doesn't go to the Raptors, he'll go somewhere else. He's not going to the Heat, bro.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. So that tweet, they literally signed like he was going to the Raptors, but Damian had made the comment to them. I can never pronounce his name. Who is the manager for the Raptors?
Masai Ujiri.
Yeah. So he literally told him, he's like, I want to go to Miami. And then that's when he's like, well, you know what? I'm pulling out of this. And
But he already knew that. Like, what? I mean,
I
that's
don't think
not
it went
new.
down like that. I definitely don't think that's what happened. I just think I don't know. I just think maybe fucking Blazers wanted both Scotty and OG maybe and I don't know. I just think it just didn't go through. I just think Drew Holiday looked more appealing than Scotty or OG. I
I'll
don't
take
know.
either one. Plus, I'll take Dick, pause, and then I'll take OG or Scotty. Sorry,
100%.
it's his last name. I don't know what.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I'll take Grady any day. Bro, I think that trade was way better. I'm surprised that the Raptors trade didn't go through. And maybe Carlos is right, it has something to do with, Masai feeling skeptical about fucking Dame buying in.
Him and his manager were definitely like, yo, we're gonna try to get our way out of it. Because I mean, to be honest, as good as that team would have been, like with Siakam, who is again to me a declining all-star since they had that finals run, like you're really only gonna have him and Lillard. Why not stay where you're at if that's where you're going?
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't know
don't
what
think
the
he's
Raptors
declining.
are doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're very
they're
confused.
definitely. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I have a question for you, Carlos. I want to bring this up.
All right, come on.
Josh as my witness.
Okay.
You mentioned multiple times that the Heat were cooking up conversations, that there were multiple offers, things were being exchanged between Blazers and Heat. This is like in July, maybe August. We're talking Vegas,
Right.
What happened to all that? Because I'm seeing reports that they haven't even spoke, not even an email since June.
So here's the thing though, right? So the Portland and Heat talk, yes, 100% right. They have not talked since that first initial agreement, like that they don't want that package. So what the Heat were doing, we're talking to other teams. Now that it may come out soon or whenever, whoever. But they were definitely talking to Utah. Utah was very big. Spurs was another one who was very, very big. And this is what was told to me by sources that I got. But mainly it was talks between other teams because it got to the point where, and Josh, you could be right. We didn't got what they wanted, so they didn't want to hear it. And cherry on top is that's where Dame wants to go, and we don't want to send where Dame over there. I'm gonna stick by that because that's just how it felt. But anyways, a lot of it was Utah, Spurs, Brooklyn at first originally, but they didn't want Ben Simmons. Portland did not want Ben Simmons, and that was the only thing Brooklyn was willing to give up at that time. So that was another one. Another team I heard as well was actually, believe it or not, was the Suns. The whole background, James Jones, Pat Riley, that whole situation. They were in talks to make this. So this is why I got the way I got, because this whole trade, it should have been our team instead of the Bucks. Because the Suns were always a silent, like, we want to make this move, because as you saw when they traded for Beal and they made this whole move this offseason, their bench was shit. And
Yeah.
we were to a point where we were going to get rid of Martin. We were going to get rid of Highsmith. That's why we signed a Josh Richardson, to make this happen. But unfortunately, that's not how it worked out. And deal with Miami. They didn't want to see Lillard in Miami. So
Can you pull up the tweet that I just added in the chat real quick?
yeah,
I just want to pull it up on the screen. I want to discuss this. So supposedly, somebody reported the official trade that involved other teams. This is the Heat's best and final offer that was presented to the Blazers. It included the Spurs getting Hero. It included the Nets. It included all these people. I want to dissect it. And, sorry to put it out there. I want to make a fool of how bad this trade is and why the Heat were never in contention. So, yeah.
I'm about to pull it up. Give me 1 second. Let me
Yeah, go ahead. I know I sent it through a weird medium.
No, you're good. You're good. I just gotta switch it over. Just trying to share screen, and then we are. I hope I got this. Let me see. This one. This one.
Josh, you still there?
Page 96. Try searching something else. Can you do me a favor and actually
go to major underscore PASSONS Passons. Just go to Twitter and look up major underscore Passons.
All right, you guys
Pass
can
on.
while I'm looking that up. So
yeah, so major underscore PASSONS. Major Passons.
I follow him.
You follow him, yeah. He's legit. So I'm not digging deep through Twitter to find something to make a fool. This is a legitimate source saying this is the offer.
It's funny you add him because he's a diehard Heat fan. So I'm just throwing that out there.
So this is, bro. I look at all tweets, bro. This is what I do. I'm a degenerate. I look at everything.
Where was that tweet exactly before we continue?
Dude, let me see. It starts off, do like Control F. Dame deal had framework. Maybe Control F framework. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I can try to. What's a better way to send it? Hopefully you didn't delete it.
Send it to my actual
Instagram.
No, the my Twitter. You have me on Twitter. Just send me on my message, and I could probably pull it up there.
All right, cool. Hopefully, hopefully he didn't delete it. That scumbag. I don't think he did though.
It said, because when I did pull it up, it said this page does not exist. So he could have easily deleted it, but
yeah, he might have. But I still got
Do you have a screenshot of it?
Yeah, I think I do. Here, let me send something through.
Okay, cool.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, we good.
Oh, I got. You know what? I'm just going to. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, ham and cheese. I do, John. That's my boy John. Yes, I do. I have someone who actually works in there. That's all I can really say on that. But I do have some sources at the Heat organization.
I just in the comments I just put the tweet. So I literally copied and pasted the text.
Okay.
It's kind of easier than a screenshot.
Let me see.
Yeah, maybe you just want to just pull up the comments or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hold on.
Copy and paste that in a Word doc. Go old school.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm gonna read it out loud while you do that. So it says Dame deal had a framework that everyone agreed on, but not Portland.
Right.
Which I think that sentence right there is stupid within its own, but we'll talk about that later. So it says Laurie, Duncan, Jovic, possibly Triple J.
Oh, so it says sorry, that tweet has been deleted. So
so he did delete it.
He deleted it.
I wonder if it's not reputable then. I wonder if it's a lie. But he did tweet it. He did tweet it. Anyways, Hero's gonna go to San Antonio. Ben Simmons was gonna go to Portland. Nurkic and Little was gonna go to Brooklyn. Mama Simmons didn't want Ben either. That's facts. The whole deal was stupid.
Happy birthday, bro. Happy early birthday.
I had no idea tomorrow was your birthday, or maybe I do. Maybe it was in my calendar. Yo, Lewis, get on here. We need a third. We need some debates. Anyways, I put it in the comments. If you guys can see that, hopefully you can. If that was truly what the Heat was planning, like this was their mastermind move to get San Antonio involved, to get the Nets involved, like bro, this
You
is
put
a
it in the
pretty.
private chat. I'm gonna put it in the other chat.
Oh, okay. My apologies. So
Boom.
if this was truly the deal that Portland was gonna get Ben Simmons, like what, like bro, I think it's a joke. Like kidding me?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Which I get why that didn't happen, but like I don't want people to think that this post is true. Portland and Miami did not talk, but I don't want people to just think that that's it. Like Pat Riley put a bib and went to sleep for this whole offseason. No, he was talking to other teams. It's just Portland didn't want it. Once Portland, so how it was is the other team will go and approach him. Once they said we want to help Dame get to Miami, Cronin was like, I don't want to hear it. And like that's what I'm saying, where it's like, to me, I can't say anything else. And I know it sounds biased because I'm a Heat fan, but that's very petty to me, bro. Like
I don't
get
think
it.
that's what happened. I do not think that's what happened, man. I think Pat Riley pulled up, right, gave an offer, and it included Hero to San Antonio for a pick. So now they got one pick. They got a few Heat picks, which are not that great. And I think and then a couple of young guys that they didn't want. They didn't want, I don't know, Jovic. Cannot pronounce these foreigners' names. No offense. I love foreigners. I think they run the NBA. I just think that package was not enticing. And what should have happened was, well, you know what? Can I rewind real quick? Can I just be fully transparent? The Heat don't have much to offer anybody if their second best player is untouchable.
Yeah.
You look at the Bucks, Middleton and Drew Holiday are all touchable. They can definitely be touched. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing though. Middleton, he about to go into surgery. And Drew Holiday, like I said earlier when Josh was on, he's on a decline. Whereas Bam, he hasn't even hit his prime level yet. And Jimmy is in his prime. So that to me makes more sense to trade off than it does to trade Bam in that situation.
Yeah. I just think so. Like name. All right. So let me think of somebody else. Like, dude, I just feel like every other team, their second option is movable, except for the Celtics, and that's why Celtics will never be able to land Dame, because all you got left is, you got the like the tier of good player. You got Marcus Smart for Porzingis. Dame is a tier above that. That's the tier. So what I'm saying is, if the Heat, their tier 1 and their tier 2 are untouchable, and all you got is tier 3 players, that's all you're ever gonna like. I don't think you can work with tier 3 to receive a tier 1 type guy, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well here's the bottom line to it all, right? And Strus and Vincent are objects of it, and it's Pat Riley was high on himself on showing this past season on how far we got with these, if you want to call them intangible players. So
Yeah.
he was riding on that high of look where these players actually got. If you take the time, I developed these players. So if the Cavs are out here paying $77 million to freaking Strus, and then you got Gabe Vincent becoming a starter over at the Lakers, he's like, look at what these players have done. Just because they're no names doesn't mean they can't ball. Which I'm not agreeing that was not the right approach, especially when you're trying to get Damian Lillard. But I understand where he was coming from with that. He saw that's when let's say you have a good example. You have you were younger, one of these toys, you valued it so much. You got it at the dollar store, right? You try to sell it off to somebody. You're like, dude, like this toy, it's like the best thing in the world. Like you can do this, you can do that with it, and you can move them around. And the guy's like, bro, it's still $1. I don't want it. And that's in layman's terms, that's how that whole situation went by. Which is like I said, like I understand what Pat Riley was trying to do, but for Damian Lillard, you got to do more. And that I do agree with you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they could have done more. In my opinion, the stance that I took back at the beginning of the summer, which I don't think I've seen any reporter take this stance. So this is a genuine opinion that nobody took. It's not a hot take. It's just I just this is what I thought. I'm looking at the Heat's roster and I'm looking at their salary. They only have 5 players making 8 digits. Duncan Robinson, Hero, Bam, Butler, and Kyle Lowry, right? So if you break that down, let's break that down real quick. Kyle Lowry, he's not worth anything. He's a negative asset. He's a negative asset. You have to
100%.
give a pick to give him up. Like, so let's not even talk about him, right? Who do you have left? You have Butler and Bam. They're untouchable, no matter who. According to you, not even Jokic or Embiid can be traded for Bam or Butler, right?
Jokic will acknowledge a conversation. Embiid, I would rather take Randall. Put it that way.
So all right, so maybe for Jokic, which is still like it's impossible, right? Like nobody will ever trade Jokic and after you just won. So the point I'm trying to make is Butler and Bam will never be traded, right? So all you have left in terms of salary and in terms of just tier of players worth even considering are Hero, which Blazers straight up said we have so many guards, we don't want Hero. And then the last player is Duncan Robinson. Like, so your whole entire foundation is based off Duncan. Like I'm looking at him, like there's just
I
no
gotta show
you
this
got no
picture real
flexibility.
quick. I gotta show
Yeah,
this
you got no flexibility. What do we got here?
Do you see the growth? And homie right here? This is
Oh,
a year. This is a year. Homeboy's
yeah,
jacked.
you got a little jacked. You got a little jacked. So you're saying he's a better asset for it?
He honestly though, if it's look, here's what I'm saying. Right? Here's what I'm saying. If Portland is really trying to rebuild, this right here with a Scoot Henderson would have been a very scary young team. Now, here's my hot take. My hot take: Jovic for Rookie of the Year, or whatever.
Bro, that's so scorching hot. Like that is beyond scorching hot. That's like heat.
I'm as on fire as red as my shirt is right now. All right.
Listen, I bleed freaking black and silver, bro. But even I will come out and say that Wemby is probably not front runner for Rookie of the Year. Like I'm a realist. Jovic broke. Like there's no way. I mean, maybe because there's not many other pieces that the Heat got to go hard. I don't know, man. The Heat looking
special,
weak.
man. He's special, man. He is special, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Heat fan, but he is special.
No, I get it.
MVP
Serbia.
of the
He's from
year.
Serbia too, right?
See? Sin Havoc. What up, Sin? Welcome. MVP of the
He
year. You mean? That's Jimmy Butler. But yeah, let's hide this. It looked like we had another guest on, but I guess he couldn't. So guys, yeah. So when you link up in that chat, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna send the link again. So if you guys want to jump on, because I want to hear different perspectives on this.
Yeah, let's hear different perspectives. But going back to what I was saying, so I don't know, man. I just look at this Heat roster, and there is not that many. There's not that much flexibility. I look at the Bucks roster, and it makes sense. Even Middleton is still up for grabs, in my opinion. In my opinion, if I am the GM of the Bucks, I am not done trading. I am going to move Middleton. That's what I would do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I say keep going.
That time that ship has come and sailed away, and it's like the Titanic right now. It's sinking. That you need to move on from the Chris Middleton and Milwaukee and Giannis team up. Like that you need to move forward from that.
Yeah.
And I feel like Giannis just needs guards by him now, actual guards.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, let me see. I got some people messaging me on the side. Whoops. That was an accident. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. I hear you.
Am I frozen though? I see I'm pretty
Yeah,
frozen.
just hide your stop your
let's
cam
do
and
this.
open it up again, see if it if not, yeah, you leave, come back, and I'll join you. So I got the Heat roster over here right now. Let me see roster. Let me see if I can get a full. There you go.
Hey,
So I'm
I'm
looking up
back.
the Heat roster right now since we're talking about it, so we can kind of pull it up. Yeah, here you go. Again, wow, a lot of intangibles. A lot of intangibles. Let's go right here.
So what are we looking at now? Sorry.
No, you're good. So you were speaking about the Heat roster. So we got the Heat roster. So we're starting off on top with actually I do like this signing we did this offseason, Thomas Bryant. He was big in the Nuggets. He was big for the Lakers. That's a nice little backup center we have with Bam. We could even run it to where Bam is a forward, or vice versa. Thomas is the forward with Bam. All right, so we have Jimmy. We have Jamal Cain, which is from the G League. Can't even pronounce homeboy's name.
Do me.
Today, what was that?
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say that today we actually signed RJ Hampton.
I
Yo,
wanna
tell
dig
homie to
deeper.
stop calling the chat and stop calling the group chat and to just jump on here.
Who?
What's the name?
Oh yeah, Lewis, yeah.
Lewis, yeah. Tell Lewis to jump on.
I know. He just needs to click that link. I
That's
told
all
him to
you
click it.
gotta do.
He'll get on. He'll get on in the meantime. Hey, do me a favor. Can you go out of ESPN and go to a different website that kind of shows exactly what you're looking at, but with salaries? Because I want to talk
Okay,
what to do
so
next. It's called salaries with an S, wish.com.
okay. Oh, okay. Cool. You guys can go ahead and jump on
Oh,
that.
we got beloved. Oh my goodness.
The man, the myth, the legend right now. Okay.
Hey, by the way, Carlos, so I've been running this fantasy league for like, I don't know, like 6 years maybe. He's a
Don't do
two-time
that.
champ.
Don't do that.
Two-time champ.
Don't do that.
Oh, so I gotta come for
He's
your number this season. Is that what
Nah,
you're
don't do that.
saying? Ian, you said salary.
Salarieswish.com. That's the site I use to really be looking at salaries. It's an amazing site. I just want to pull it. I just want to talk about this real quick.
All right.
Let's see if you can
What's
share
up,
that.
Lewis? Let me hear. Let me hear your.
Yeah, I have no idea your
opinion,
opinion, Louis. I have no idea. What?
guys, while I'm
It's a
looking this
lot
up.
going on, honestly. Like I stated, I mean, great content, by the way, from both of y'all.
Hey, appreciate that.
I was driving in when I heard the rumors and things like that. You know, I had a little bit of a dinner and things like that, but so I was a little late to the party. But for the most part, I mean, a lot going on. Kind of chiming in, you know, Drew, in my opinion, was a big asset to
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
huge.
So, I mean, regardless if they go through with it or not, um, I think that's a big, you know, no for them. You know, whether or not they keep them or they don't. I think that's you know, one of those things where I'm kind of like um, the trust thing kind of went out the window.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, from players trusting the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think that you know the injuries and everything like that between Middleton and obviously Giannis, you know, last year played a big factor. Um,
Do you
Brooks
think
came back.
Middleton is shaking in his boots right now? You think he's next? You think that he's thinking he's next?
I mean, maybe. Um, Definitely, obviously, I mean, Drew, in my opinion, I'm not stating that he's better than him or not, but Drew presented a kind of a hustle to him where, I mean, he could play those 42, 43-minute games and kind of like, you know, play on and off the ball. He was definitely not a selfish individual. Middleton is more one of those guys that kind of like plays on the ball.
Which you don't need no more, really.
Right. So, it's interesting, obviously, and I don't want to backtrack on the, you know, on the conversation that you guys already had. But I mean, it's definitely one of those like topics that is kind of like, or things that kind of like you have to think about, both Holiday and Middleton kind of like, yeah, like, am I safe here? John is mentioning he's not going to leave. Obviously, Milwaukee, they're going to build around Milwaukee. I mean, Giannis. So,
Yeah.
100%.
it's one of those things that, I mean, yeah, I mean, that, Chris and obviously Drew are kind of like, I'm packing up regardless.
So
Um,
with that, I kind of had like just kind of popped in my head. What if they don't shop Middleton, but they shop Lopez? I feel like right now, because in past series, Lopez has proven that he is an asset, especially to the Bucks, because he has those games where he goes off, he's shooting those threes. I feel like he's more of a trade asset than Chris Middleton is. Because here's the thing: Chris Middleton went down last season, and when he went down, everybody knew it's surgery time, it's recovery time. I don't see a team going out of their way to get Middleton, even if he does come back and he's like, God's gift on earth when it comes to basketball. I don't see them. I'll see them risk maybe like a Lakers going after, Brook or something like that. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking of.
I mean, I mean, the Lakers were, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, they were definitely front runners for Brook Lopez originally.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, not going to go too much in detail on that, but, I agree with you. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, Middleton is, when he's healthy, man, I mean, like the guy's 25 points. I mean, on or off the bench. I mean, so he's a big asset. However, I mean, the factor is, can he stay healthy? Can he play,
Right.
I mean, 50 games out of the year? And I think that's the biggest thing. As Drew Holiday. I mean, I think at one point they were kind of like, okay, well, we're gonna rest him a little bit, but it was never that he was asking to be rested. Um, so I mean, it's interesting. I just, on and off the ball. I mean, I've been watching, no homo, of course, but um, Holiday has always been that guy that, like I stated, in the chat, 15 points, 6 assists. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's getting in the paint. He'll play defense. I mean, I'm not stating that he has a higher stock than Middleton, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting.
More compatible than Middleton was the last couple of years. I will say that.
I think his stock is higher than Middleton. Yeah, his stock is like right there with like
Yeah.
Marcus Smart. I feel like that's the
Right.
tier
I
to put
mean,
him
it's
on.
it's one of those things, man. I mean, like honestly, like they're not young guys, neither one of them. So, um, you got a lot of talent coming out the college and things like that, and high school ball too. I mean, you're looking at all these guys, but like realistically speaking, like um, Holiday, in my opinion, is a little bit different, more because he's never been that flashy guy. He's never been that like he can score 30 points, honestly, any given Sunday. But like realistically speaking, what I've loved about him is he's not a flashy guy. He's not in the media. Um,
You're describing
and
what a Heat player is. That's what you're describing right now, bro.
yeah,
Which
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, he might go to the Heat, bro. I don't know.
and I'll be honest with you, bro. Like that would be fire. I'm not a Heat fan, but I mean,
It will be scary.
as a basketball fan, like that would be fire. I mean, him and Jimmy, bro. Like I think that they would get along, and that's something that like I mean, I'm sure as a
Definitely something that like I would love to see it, but just like I was stating earlier, knowing how Pat Riley is, he's not picking up a phone to Portland ever again. If that, like it's hit. Miami and Portland are never making a trade deal unless it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire, because it's just Pat is a very prideful person, which is why this whole trade situation most likely didn't go through. Because after that one like initial attempt to get Damian Lillard, when Cronin was like, "I'm not hearing what you guys are saying," pretty much. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing everything. Um, yeah, Pat Riley's like, "I'm gonna go talk to other teams. If that doesn't work, then that's why 2 days ago and I believe you posted it in the chat, Ian. He
Yeah.
was out here stating like, "Oh, you know, we're happy with the assets we got, and this is, and you know, he was admitting defeat at that point, and you know, at that point there was still talks with other teams, not Portland, but with other teams. So, you know,
Yeah. Yo, real quick, Lewis, I want to talk about the Suns, bro. I want to talk. What's your opinion on that? Because I feel like they're taking L's left and right. I don't know. Am I crazy?
you're a little bit, bro. You're a little bit.
Yo, Nurkic, bro,
Just a
he's on crutches.
Um,
Am, am I wrong?
I mean, honestly, bro, like I felt like in my opinion, they gave up. Obviously, with the whole KD thing, they gave up a lot in the first place. Um, I mean, KD is KD.
I'm gonna pull up their
No,
roster.
I'm okay. I'm not saying no.
No,
KD, that's an upgrade. I'm talking about post KD.
no. What I'm stating is that I feel like they gave up too much for KD.
Oh, since all right, so that's when the L's started rolling in.
In my opinion, that's just me.
Okay. No, not bro.
Um,
I mean, put it this way: they were in the finals without KD, and when he comes in, they didn't go as far. I mean, granted, the Nuggets were nice. I'm not blaming it on KD, but depth is
I feel
needed.
like they gave up. I feel like they gave up a lot. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that there, not saying any more on that. Nurkic is one of those guys that I think Josh was in here earlier.
Yeah.
Um, Nurkic is one of those guys that he's a hustle player. I mean, it makes sense, you know. However, it's back to the Middleton thing. Is like, can they stay healthy? Um, Nurkic, I don't, like I stated, I don't have my laptop in front of me or my iPad in front of me, but like, I'm not sure how many games he played. And maybe it was more like, just kind of like reserving him because they knew he was out the door.
And they wanted a tank. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different things that goes with that. I mean, obviously, it's politics. I mean, we all know that. That situation. I mean, the Suns. They're honestly, man, like I'd be panicking, in my opinion. I'm not
You're a
stating they
fan?
have a very. I mean, on paper, I mean, you see the guys that they have. Um,
I just pulled up their roster right now. Now, with seeing some of these players, I actually see them not even starting Nurkic. I see them actually starting small and having,
right,
because you got Bobo also on the bench.
right,
I see them
Yeah.
actually like at least having a forward in that center position, which it's gonna hurt them. But at the same time, when you got KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal,
right. It's a big team.
yeah, yeah. So I don't
And
know.
they stretch the floor. You're looking at those guys, and
And everybody
Devin,
sleeping on that Eric Gordon pickup, like that
yeah,
for off the bench. I mean,
yeah. No,
good.
I mean it's definitely interesting. I mean, for me to tell you that Nurkic is washed and things like that, like I mean, I'd be lying to you. But I mean, I think honestly, like I'm not, the Suns. I think they did a lot, and I think what happened was with the departure of Chris Paul, and then the departure of Bridges, and obviously seeing what he did in Brooklyn, and obviously Brooklyn is Brooklyn. Anybody, what I'm
Anybody can be
saying,
good.
like you throw me in there 10 games, what I'm saying, like I'll do my thing, but I think there was a lot of heat with that because and which is what I stated, when they first got rid of him. I think that they were surrounding the Suns between um, Chris Paul and then Booker, and then you had Aiton, and I feel like Bridges was just kind of that one guy that was just that kind of like side piece. And in all reality, I mean, he was one of the best defenders on the team, if
Yeah.
not the best defender on the team. And he was one of those guys that was kind of just like, like, okay, well, I mean, you catch the ball and, you pass it to Chris Paul, and Chris Paul is gonna, do the pick and roll thing with, Ayton, things like that. I just feel like it was just one of those like situations where it was just like, I don't know. But, the Suns, man, like the Suns have a lot. You know, if I, you know, if you're asking me, I think the Suns are on the hot seat right now. Everybody's talking about the Celtics, obviously, like the last 2 or 3 years, things like that. And I think the Suns right now are kind of like on one of those like predicaments that are like, okay, well, we gave up a
Everything
lot of people. Yeah, we gave up a lot of
and
people,
picks and the whole future. They give up their whole
and
future.
and not taking away from KD whatsoever. But I feel like, when you give up, um, back to, the Drew Holidays, when you give up, defense. I mean the NBA, nowadays is, a lot of people look at it as like you see these high scoring games, but like, what the last 2 or 3 minutes in the game, like, you need those key guys that are going to defend the ball, that want to guard the best players. And I feel like there's not a lot of those guys that want to step up these days. So when you find a Drew Holiday, when you find a Mikal Bridges, a Kawhi Leonard, at his peak and stuff like that. When you find those types of guys, man,
You got to give them.
honestly, bro, yeah, you got to give them their flowers, bro. You really do.
Yeah. No, that's
So
So
facts.
I do want to touch on something real quick because by the way, hey, shout out to Ian. This site right here, like you got me mesmerized right now. Like they have a lot of information. This might start being my go-to.
Hey, I'm giving
This
away
right
my
here,
secrets. This is how I know all my facts. But anyways, go ahead.
this right here, this move right here is actually one of the most like silent killer moves with signing. You're gonna laugh, but signing Rudy Gay to the Golden State Warriors right now, I feel like that's a piece that they were really missing, even if it is him coming off the bench.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that, that's scary. With the Chris Paul, with the Curry, with the Clay Thompson, like, hmm.
hmm
And they
Yeah,
still got
I feel
Wiggins.
that.
hmm
Nah,
Oh,
the
okay.
league just got more interesting. I do feel that 100%.
A lot of people don't realize, you know, and sorry to cut you off if you were gonna continue with the conversation or with that sentence, but like a lot of people don't realize how many games there is in the NBA, just like any obviously professional sport. And when you got a guy like Rudy Gay that at one point in his time,
He was a man.
he wasn't a superstar. I'm not gonna lie to you and say he was a superstar, but like he was a veteran guy. He's one of those guys that's been there, done that. At one point he was guarding LeBron, he was guarding, Kobe Bryant, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
guys like that, if they can give you 15 minutes off the bench, Iguodala, you saw what he was doing. He was named MVP
Yeah.
over Curry, for guarding LeBron, um, which,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
yeah,
I
you
know.
know,
In retrospect is horrible, but now I know what you're saying. Yeah. He's
eh,
definitely gonna be that Iguodala, that like Ray
that's a
Allen.
great pickup, man. For the minimum, you're getting him for pennies. So, that was a very, I honestly didn't even see that. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
He's honestly right now at a position where he doesn't need to do much. Just play defense, stay open. When you're open, you get the ball, make
hmm
plays. That's all he really has to do.
Yeah, that's basically what
Yeah,
Ray Allen did in for the Heat.
Game
exactly.
game six. I
hmm
thought this was a pretty not the signing I wanted today, but I thought this was an interesting.
RJ Hampton, bro. I'm not impressed, bro. I'm sorry.
And we're going. Hey, look, listen, look. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all before we start. So you look. So I'm gonna pull up the salary so you can look at the salary and stuff. But look, before we get too deep on it, Miami is still gonna whoop some ass this season. I mean, we
Nah, bro.
look like. And I know, I got a lot of people telling me, "Oh, you lost Truce, you lost Vincent. Where was all this energy when we had them? Like when we
hmm
had them, oh, they suck. They're intangibles. We don't need, now they're gone. Oh, you guys are nothing without them. Like we picked up Richardson, which that to me was a very sleeper pickup with getting Richardson. If he comes
Yeah.
off the bench, if he starts, it is what it is. But it's a defender, it's a shooter. He already knows the system. He's good friends. He has that chemistry with Bam already. Like, I mean, that's not really saying much because Bam is friends with everybody, but Like, like I don't know. I feel
So
like we are. What was that?
so
Go
what are
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
saying? What seed are you gonna be placing this team? Because I mean, there's no way you're gonna say first. I mean, there's a stacked East now. The East is good.
I would say four,
Interesting. Okay.
but I see us making it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Were you a fan of first and foremost, because just to show the audience and things like that, are you a Heat fan?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
But
Um,
I say that without like I know I'm biased because I'm a Heat fan, but
no, that's fine. I mean,
last
look,
last season I did call us going to the finals, and everybody
no,
was shit
of
out on us,
course, of
crazy.
course.
And look, we made it. We didn't win, but we made it.
No, I mean, and they overachieved in my opinion. Obviously, they beat Milwaukee,
Right.
which was what, the number one seed in the East.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just curious and things like that. But just kind of, and maybe you guys touch up on this and things like that. Like what the getting rid of Vincent. I don't know if you guys spoke about this and things like that. Like I felt like that was a big L. Um,
That's
and
how I feel.
and
It definitely was.
that was that caught me off guard. And me as a I'm a LeBron fan, so but I'm not biased whatsoever, of course. But I just felt like that was,
feel like
I
you
mean,
said you're
wow.
a fan is already biased as it is.
No, no. I mean, I'll tell you what, Ian's my cousin. I'll put this on the record. Like Ian's my cousin, and I've never been biased in my life. I've never stated, I'm a Heat fan, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a fan of the game. So,
Right.
um, but when I noticed that, obviously Vincent, played the way he played and things like that, and then obviously, the Lakers being the Lakers, of course. On the off season, I'm looking at all these rumors and things like that, and I'm anticipating certain moves, and I'm kind of like intrigued on what they have and what they don't have, and then and then Vincent was the last person that came up in my mind. Um, you as a Heat fan, like, was that something that you were anticipating? Was that somebody that was in talks, or was there rumors about that, in the locker room and things like that? Obviously, you're not in the locker room, but like that was the last person that I was anticipating to hear
So,
uh, being in
personally,
talks.
I honestly thought, especially from how we played last season, the Dame talks were happening, but very hush hush. It wasn't nothing like how it was this whole off season, but it was definitely there was going to be some movement made, especially when we lost because of the. So we went into this season with the whole factor of the whole KD saga before he left, and that or him trying to figure out what Kyrie was going to do, what he was going to do before he left Brooklyn because he left mid-season. So we were on that high trying to do all that, and then it was very well known, at least as a Heat fan and Heat culture, it was very well known that Jimmy was he says he's going to be a Heat lifer for the rest of his career, but you can tell between him and Bam, they were, with Donovan Mitchell, with all this other stuff, they were definitely pushing to make some moves. So last season, I actually thought with the way things ended, I didn't think Vincent was going to leave. I did think Strus was leaving. I knew that was in the bag. I thought
Right.
Caleb was going to be one of the ones to either request a trade or us moving him because he was an asset. I feel like as much as Vincent was amazing these last two seasons for us, I feel like last year without Caleb Martin, we would not be where we were at. So I honestly thought Caleb was on the move, which is why when I was hearing Caleb in talks for this Damian Lillard stuff and all that, that's why I was like, okay, there's traction here because he was actually like on a grander scale when we played, on the television worldwide, he showed out. He came in, he played, he showed out. Whereas Vincent was great, but at times he was also stagnant. Same thing with Struz. And it's just crazy to me that they're the ones that got paid, and I'm happy because we still have Martin, but to me, it's like it's a little, it was really weird for me, but you know, we're here now. So
I mean, so you, you made a lot of good points, and I'm just kind of like, I love the culture of Miami, honestly, personally. Um, I've always Pat Riley for a reason. And in my opinion, Eric Spoelstra was one of the, I mean, that was the only coach, in my opinion, that made a big difference in LeBron's career, in all reality.
LeBron would have hit it though, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few people that can coach of a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, and a LeBron James. I mean, you can love or hate all those guys. I mean, very few people. Jordan, I feel like, I mean, a lot of people say that Jackson kind of like made his career. I mean, I think they complemented each other. There's, uh, I grew up in a, you know, uh, I'm a little bit on the older side, but like I grew up in a, you know, the Jordan era, the Kobe Bryant era. Growing up, I was a Tracy McGrady fan because I hated Kobe Bryant. And you know, but yeah, um, besides the point, Eric Spoelstra, in my opinion, was for somebody to jump into an organization like that. I feel like he made sense at the age that he was in to coach somebody. I mean, how many people come out of college, in the last, I mean, or not college, out of high school at that, being the face of, the NBA,
Yeah.
you know,
And the
Jo-
cool thing about Eric, and I'm pretty sure you know this, but he actually started as a video editor, like
hmm
he just got behind Pat Riley and
hmm
took the ropes on. They're like, "You're the guy," and that was one of the big facts. So honestly, personally, and of course, I say this all the time. Every time I'm about to say what I'm about to say, I think LeBron coming down here, giving us the 2 championships, but we definitely and LeBron. I really believe if there wasn't that ego situation going on between Eric and between LeBron, um, if he would have stayed, we probably would have won 2 more chips, or even
Oh,
played.
for sure.
And
For sure.
yeah. But the thing is that for one, since he got here, he wanted Pat Riley to coach a team, and Pat Riley told him, "I am the general manager. I am not coaching. I'm the
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra's team," and LeBron wasn't having it. And it's like you said, man. Down here in Miami, it is a very different culture. You can't have your homies coming in like LeBron always wants to do and have his posse with him. It's not that was nipped in the butt that first week. And yeah, so it's like stuff like that to me. I feel like sometimes egos gets in the way of greatness and teamwork. And yeah, that's why Jimmy Butler is where he is right now. And he's like he is Miami Heat. You say coach, you say Miami Heat culture, you're thinking Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and when they picked up Jimmy, I felt like, in Chicago and even, I mean, Philly, in my opinion, kind of fed into that fire, realistically speaking, because, in Chicago, he put up numbers. He had Levine and stuff like that. There was a lot of, I think there was just like a lot of ego, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, and when he went to Philly, I mean, it was even worse, in my opinion. I mean, you had just a lot going on. I just think, it's just
That Philly team, they made it as far as they did because of Jimmy Butler.
right. But who was, who was to blame? At the end of the disappointing season, in my opinion, that they had, it was Jimmy. Nobody blamed anybody else, which is, I think that fueled him, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. All right.
And trust me. I mean, when he was in talks of where he's going and things like that, I wanted LeBron to pick him up. You know what I'm saying? Like me, realistically speaking, I was just like, bro, like they're they're very similar. I mean, they're playing a similar role because they're, I want to say the quarterback, because he can play off the ball and he can play on the ball. And what I love about Jimmy, he's not selfish, but he can take over the game. And I love that about Jimmy. And at the same time, like he wants to get his hands dirty. LeBron obviously is at that age, and he's never been labeled a great defensive player, obviously. But those guys want those last like 30, 45 seconds of the game. And when he was in talks of, the rumors and like, oh, he's not getting along in Philly, even in Chicago, the Chicago days, I was like, bro, if him and Jimmy, if LeBron and Jimmy linked up, I mean, I don't know, man. That would have been crazy. But anyways, I kind of derailed a little bit, but
Hey man,
um,
we
the Heat culture, bro. I mean, it's great, and yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting year.
So Ian, so where you want to start? So I got the salaries up here. If you want to still touch on those, I felt like that was going to be an interesting little conversation.
Yeah. Let me know if you hear me. I took off the headphones. I'm going speakerphone right now.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. I mean, look, the Heat organization, they overachieved because it's the organization. You know what I mean? Like I'm a Heat hater no matter what, just by virtue, because I'm just a hater in general. But I will never say that the Heat organization is bad. There's only like 5 good organizations. There's only like 5 good ones.
Right.
The rest are mediocre or just shitty. And Heat are definitely one of the 5 that are good. Celtics are up there. Spurs are up there. There's not many others. So I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think there's a lot of like. With all that being said, I think right now you got 1 or 2 more years to make something happen, and then that window, I think you're gonna be in super rebuild mode, worse than what happened when LeBron left. Like I think it's gonna be more limbo. Like, and I know that the Heat bring a lot of talent, undrafted, they work it. But you got to admit they rely heavily on free agents, and it just feels like the last few years it hasn't gone their way. And I know a lot of it's been trading. The trades haven't gone their way, but if it wasn't for Butler and if it wasn't for LeBron, I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
Like, who's really?
I feel like, and this is what's hurting the league personally. This is my personal opinion on it. Some of these contracts, the length and the amount are so ridiculous that the only way these players that all of a sudden they want to go to I don't want to play here anymore. I want to go somewhere else. Like they're making that situation so much harder because they're signing these 6-year deals, rightfully so. You get that big paycheck. Hey, go get it. But it's to me, I feel like it needs to get to a point to where, owners and teams start signing people for 2 years. And if they do want to stay, then that's different. You go ahead. That's your franchise player. Then you do what you do. But
yeah,
like for instance, you have a player like, let's say James Harden. He signs a 3-year deal. Halfway through his first year, he's like, "No, I want to get traded." Now you're stuck because one, what other owner wants to take on the extra 2 years and pay him what he thinks he's owed? Because it's a signed contract. But it's like, to me, it's just like I feel like there's definitely need to be some changes in that aspect, and I mean, who knows? It's probably not going to happen, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's hurting the league.
No, I mean, honestly, that's going on in all sports. I mean, you're looking at, soccer, and the media is not helping at that, soccer, I mean, baseball, these contracts are ridiculous. Football, the shelf life on a running back right now is, I mean, 2 years, maybe 3 years if you're lucky. But they want to get signed these 5-10 year deals, you know. Uh, in my opinion, when I saw Mike Conley get that contract for $255 million, I was like,
Oh,
I kind of like questioned my occupation and kind of was like, oh, well, maybe I could pick up the basketball again, like, um, it's definitely, as an agent, as a player, as a coach, as a, just, the NBA itself. I mean, it's rough, man. I mean, back to what you were stating. I mean, it's rough, and I think the Heat, for the most part, is one of those organizations that I do respect, realistically speaking. Ian mentioned a few organizations that you know he felt were worthy of mentioning, and the Heat are one of those like kind of organizations that, whether I'm a Heat fan or not, like I respect. I've always respected. Um, I mean, we know where the money markets are. You look at the LA teams in baseball, basketball, everything. Obviously, the Caps and stuff like that, the Saxes, the New York teams and stuff like that. Obviously, having now two teams in New York. Uh, uh,
so
I mean,
let me ask you this, Lewis. Do you think the Heat are quote unquote in trouble at all?
I don't think so. The Heat are in trouble more because of they're not going to sign any big names. I think that's what I've always kind of loved about them. Aside from the, obviously, they had, D Wade, and, then Shaq came over, and then they had LeBron, but the Heat kind of like always been the dogs, and they've kind of like,
Lonzo, Tim Hardaway.
they've made it happen, you know what I'm saying? They get it shaken, and that's what I love about that, and I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So this whole narrative for them, that's like, oh, things are shaking, and the main reason why, and I was speaking, shout out to my boy Wayne, big bro. We were talking about this. The reason why this type of stuff, like, when these trades don't go through or the big name doesn't come to us, it's because we're literally at a spot right now where we only need one star, one player, and we're there because we're already there without that. So just imagine
Yeah,
that one push. And
yeah,
maybe it doesn't need to, we need to realize maybe it doesn't need to be that next star. Maybe it just needs to be that next, or doesn't need to be that next all-star. Maybe it just needs to be a next star or something,
right,
where
right.
we're going to get that next push. It's just the matter of finding the right mesh. And that's what we're good at doing. We're good at finding players that mesh with us. It just,
Hmm.
So
I think we need to stop the whole trade stuff and just start looking.
No, and honestly, like, to kind of like piggyback on that, I think, with Jimmy Butler being that guy, and keep in mind, I want to say that like Jimmy doesn't even consider himself a superstar, and that's what he considers himself like a dog,
Yeah.
and I love that about him. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't. I don't, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't know him personally, but like I don't see him in a Lambo like flexing in the club in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a normal guy and he busts his ass. You know what I'm saying? And so when you think of Miami, anything, in my opinion, I feel like, what I'm saying, I'm a Ravens fan. And the reason I became a Ravens fan, being born and raised in Orlando,
Right.
was because of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, which were both Miami boys in football.
Yep.
And so you think of where they went to a Ravens, you know what I'm saying, in Baltimore, those guys were the dogs in Baltimore of football at that. Like you were not trying to run across the field and meet those two guys. And so not to prolong that conversation, but I I love Jimmy Butler because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't think that he might not be the best guy on the court on paper, but he walks out there and he is that guy on the court. And so, I think they're going to be okay. I feel like they shouldn't worry about doing these major signings like Lillard, and that's what I was referring to earlier. It was just like, that's what the Suns did. The Suns were like, oh,
No
KD,
full tilt. No full tilt.
KD, and he's like, oh, he's that guy, and I'm like, well, I mean,
The only guy now.
yeah, like what I'm saying, but like you gave is he gonna guard LeBron? Is he gonna guard Jokic? Like, is he gonna guard like Ja? Like, cool. Like KD is KD, of course. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but like realistically speaking, we're talking about a guy that couldn't win with Harden, with Westbrook in OKC, and then we're talking about a guy that had to join Golden State to even win anything, to beat LeBron, and then you went to Brooklyn, and then you joined Kyrie, which in my opinion, Kyrie is one of my favorite players.
Hold on. I ain't gonna let you slide like that, bro. I'm
Uh,
gonna slide like that because you can't say that about KD and not say that about LeBron joining the Miami Heat with D Wade and Chris Bosh to win a championship. Because that's what he had to do, bro. I know you're LeBron.
I could say D Wade for sure. I could say D Wade. I've never really understood the Chris Bosh thing because I put Chris Bosh on the same pedestal that I put Minnesota. Kevin Love in Minnesota. Kevin Love was 20 and 15, right? And when he went to Cleveland, I mean, he could shoot the three. He was in the corner.
Oh shit,
He wasn't really producing, and so I could say that definitely.
He
Bosh.
shot was wide open. That he was so. The reason why, I mean, I guess again, it's probably because I'm a fan and I saw the transition from
Right.
being the number one guy to being the guy who has to be, which what Damian Lillard needs to do now with playing with Giannis is to be that catch and pop guy, the pick and roll, rebounds, dunks. Like I feel like Bosh sacrificed, and not to take anything away from what Wade sacrificed with LeBron's. But Bosh, out of all the big three, sacrificed so much. And the thing that made the big three work is all the dirty work that Bosh did, Udonis Haslem, that nobody saw. There's not a stat line for it. That those type of players make differences when it comes to championship players. And honestly, this is coming from a place where I play the game of basketball. We all play the game of basketball. So we know those type of players, that they make that difference. And that's, to me,
Oh yeah.
that's the impact that Bosh had, that I feel like not many people, if you weren't looking for it or you weren't looking at him do it, that's why they don't give him that same respect. And that's why I'm always
and no, and don't take that out of context. For me to say that, Chris Bosh is not a Hall of Famer or anything like that, like it's not that. However, what I will say is that like when you come out of Chris Bosh came out of or Kevin Love came out of where? Minnesota, right? And he was averaging a double-double, literally a double-double. And Chris Bosh was in a similar situation where where did he come from? Toronto,
he was
right?
that, he was that
And
guy.
so, but can you name who was on that Minnesota team for Kevin Love? Because
Yeah, I
they
see what
didn't
you're
have a
saying,
winning
D.
season. They didn't have
Yeah,
a winning season.
Yeah.
Can you name who Chris Bosh was playing with? They didn't have a winning season either. And so when you think of like these alphas and things like that, and that's ignorant, right? So like I don't wanna sound ignorant. All I wanna say is that for somebody to tell me that LeBron James needed Chris Bosh to win, I mean, and then they state his resume prior to LeBron James going over to the Heat. Now, when you say Dwayne Wade, of course, Dwayne Wade's resume speaks for itself. I mean, that guy, I mean, in my opinion, he's one of the best shooting guards, and he wasn't even a shooter, but like he was one of the best like small forwards and undersized small forwards, the best that ever played the game. And Dade County, I mean, like, bro, like that guy's goated. He's goated. So when you tell me him and LeBron, yeah, I could see that. But when you tell me that the big three, I'm not stating that Chris Bosh didn't contribute. I'm not stating that he's not a Hall of Famer. All I'm saying is that I feel like LeBron and D Wade would have won the exact same amount and or more. Those two together, even I mean, respectfully, I feel like they would have won the exact same amount of rings together. Now with or without Chris Bosh.
It too is with Bosh, the way he transformed his game to the center that he was. I feel like that, right? Like if Bosh never got the blood clots, I feel like Bosh is what is essentially what the centers have become nowadays, where they're
Yeah, yeah,
pick and roll
evolved.
Game. Yeah,
Yeah,
evolved into that. And I feel like if Bosh was still around in the league, he would be eaten. Or if he would have
oh
stayed,
yeah,
he would be eaten. He would totally
oh
be eaten.
yeah, oh no, bro. Look, I'm not. Like I said, I'm a LeBron fan, but like I'm not. For me to tell you that, Bosh wasn't, he didn't contribute. Like, I mean, I'd be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd sound stupid. Um, you know, it. I just feel like, you know, back to the original conversation that we were having is just, like the Heat have always kind of had that formula where they have those guys that kind of make it work, and I feel like they found um, Jimmy Butler. And that's one of those guys where you don't think to build a franchise around, um, because they didn't do it in Chicago, and they didn't do it in Philly, and
Minnesota.
they didn't do it in Minnesota when he came out. So the fact of the matter is that they're looking at Jimmy Butler right now, and they're saying, well, like, bro, like we can do something around you. And, they brought in, Lowry, which I've always thought he was overrated. He's in the tail end, of his career, of course. They brought him in there, and then
like he would have been more impactful. But definitely Lowry's getting up there.
I think that, and again, it's unfair because, like I said, he had a lot of good time. Yeah, I mean, he had a good career in Toronto, of course, but um, that's why I was kind of like confused about the whole. They gave up Kendrick Nunn originally, and that was before, and then they gave up, and Kendrick Nunn was a lefty, young guy. And I don't know if it had anything to do with, Lowry, but, and then, coming into this season, I'm looking at them giving away Vincent. And I'm like, and that's why I was kind of like more,
Well, it was more of letting Vincent go. It was more of that because Vincent, we offered him money, but he was like, I want more, which
right.
he deserves it. He deserves to get paid after what he did, and he may not see that chance again. But
And yeah, you're right. And that's why I'm kind of like, it's interesting, bro. I mean, like honestly, like basketball and things like that. I mean, there's those guys that like know what they're worth, and then those guys that know that they're fortunate to be where they are. And that's also what makes basketball and drafting and just kind of like the signing and it's chess, bro. I mean, and that's why like me and you kind of look at each other and we're like, wait, why did this happen? And it's a lot of pieces, man. Like because there's a lot behind the scenes talks that are happening. And me and you are like, oh well, CP3 should have signed with Kobe, and the NBA didn't let that happen. And
It's funny
why
how
didn't it?
yeah.
Why didn't they? You know what I'm saying? Like, and CP3 wanted to play with LeBron James, after the New Orleans days where CP3 was probably one of the best point guards in the league, you know, um, and he wanted to play with LeBron James and D Wade. They were best friends. And it's like, no, bro, like that don't make sense. Same thing with, Kobe and him didn't make sense. Um, so I mean, it's a lot of politics and stuff like that, but I think what I love about the Heat itself, like that organization, because I can't really speak about Boston, I can't speak about LA and stuff like that, is that they've never really drafted high enough to kind of be like, oh, they're the flashy team. They've never really paid, I mean, top dollar. I mean, Alonzo Mourning, I watched him growing up and stuff like that. But they never really like they weren't that they were just those dogs, and that's what I'm saying. Like if I was a fan of somebody, growing up in Orlando, I was more of a Heat fan, if anything.
I don't blame you, man. I mean, the Magic. Come on. But yeah, so Ian, we're gonna go
What's
ahead.
up?
Last thoughts. We are pushing almost 2 hours right now on the stream. This was a big one, man. We had a lot of guests, man. Lewis, we're gonna need to
Huge.
have you back on here, bro. Like for sure.
Thanks for having me. I apologize for talking so much.
Come on,
Nah, this
man.
is good.
What?
This is deep stuff.
Yeah, man.
And this is a Heat type podcast. There's so many Heat fans that watch this, so like you're kind of on topic.
Facts. Yeah, Ian was ready for me to get eaten up, and like this was a nice surprise. We talk about the Heat most of the time. I'm okay with it. Hey, bring it on, brother. Bring it on. But yeah, so real quick, do you want to touch on this at all? This whole salary, kind of wrap it up in a nice bundle, or you think we pretty much beat it over
We
the
could
head
we
on
could save that for a different day. We can save that for a different time. Real quick, I just want to ask Lewis, yo, do you think one pick is enough for Dame? I mean, I know there's Drew Holiday, but I feel like that's not a lot.
He offered
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of behind the scenes things going on, man. Honestly, you know, it, it doesn't make sense in my opinion.
It don't. James, so
It,
like I wrote this down for this for this podcast. I'm gonna read some things to you guys just so you guys can have some context. So AD to the Lakers was 3 picks.
right.
Paul George, 5 picks.
Yeah.
Drew
about Rudy
Holiday,
Gay?
2 picks. James Harden, 4 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy, 4. Donovan Mitchell, 3. KD, 4. Dame, 1.
Yeah.
What?
And that's what I'm trying to tell you is that like people they know more than we know. Always.
Like, how do you not take that personal? Like that is a personal. Yo, here, Pat Riley. Let me stab you in the back. Like, come on. That's crazy to me. What?
I mean, he knows what he's doing, bro. And we'll leave it at that. They all know what they're doing. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. I will tell you that. I will say that the Heat, as an organization, I think that they are going to make the right decision, and that's just my opinion.
Right.
I think, but do you feel like there needs to be a decision? Like, is the roster set, or I
I don't think the roster's set. I think there needs to be more.
No, of course.
For Portland?
No,
Of
for Heat.
course.
Yeah. But and so I said the trade wasn't going to happen to trade deadline. Now, it's obviously not going to happen with Damian Lillard. I do believe before trade deadline happens, we're going to see a lot more moves going on with the Heat. Whether it's another big man, whether it's another guard, we really need a point guard at this point. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we go sign Goran Dragic. As a Heat fan, I would love it. You know, because I love
For
it.
pennies at that.
I wouldn't be mad at that signing, but we are going to need to make some moves, and it'll be in the guard position. It's hard to see right now, and honestly, that Rudy Gay, not Rudy Gay, what's his name, Gobert, trade really messed up. I feel like that messed up the league, and it was I thought it was 7 picks for Gobert.
Nah, Gobert was 4 picks. Still a lot.
That was, I mean,
it was 7 for Mitchell and Rudy.
Very off topic, but like that was probably one of the worst. I mean, aside from the Utah signing Conley, that crazy contract, but like, was it Conley or I mean, was it Utah or was it like Memphis that signed that $255 for Conley?
No, it was Utah.
It was Memphis. Was it Utah?
I think it was Utah because remember he had his baby after they signed that.
Right.
Like that big breakout game.
So I think that between that and the Gobert thing, like, I mean, they've been taking there's a lot of L's. A lot of L's, but no, I mean, I think the Heat they'll figure it out. I think they'll figure it out. I think that I'll be honest with you, bro. I mean, like, I know that you mentioned that, earlier, who's the clear favorite in the East and stuff like that. In the West, like, I think it's going to be an interesting season this year. I think it's not going to be as
clear cut. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, like coming into the season, I mean, we were looking at like, okay, Denver and Boston.
I wasn't even confident on Boston.
Yeah, I feel like Boston got worse. To be real, and
yeah,
figure out what they're gonna do with Jalen Green and Jason Tatum. Boston is gonna be the same exact space,
right,
and it's not gonna change.
And for another topic, I would get rid of Tatum and I would keep Green. That's just me.
That is a hot take.
You mean Brown?
Yeah, Brown.
That is and he took the drink. Hold on, that's a hot take. We're gonna have to have you back on for that take, man.
Wow.
That's just me. That's just me.
With it, but that's a hot take.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That's let's all drop one hot take each. I mean, I don't even know if I could top that. What the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could top that. I mean, that's the hottest.
I mean, he's been. I mean, the series between Golden State, obviously not last year, but the year before. I mean, Tatum. I mean, Tatum had that crown on his head for Boston for a while, and he had a lot of support, in my opinion.
The whole thing was handed to him. All you got to do is just execute.
I think that Brown, in my opinion, definitely was that guy, and it's just me.
I don't want people to misconstrue this or take this the wrong way, because RIP to Kobe, but ever since the linkage between Kobe and Tatum, it's like within the media itself, they made it seem like not diminishing what Tatum has done as a player, but which he hasn't really done much. But it's like now it's like he's the next best thing to basketball, and it's like we're crowning him way too fast before he has done anything. And that's why it's like I feel like that type of pressure, and it's like how you said, Brown has just at times when Tatum doesn't show up, he's just like, I guess I got to take over, So So
Yeah, I mean, you saw it. I mean, you guys are seeing it. In my opinion, he's one of the most overrated players in the league. Um,
I agree with that. I do think Tatum is
um,
overrated.
I mean, so they lost that finals, right, between Golden State, and then everybody said that Tatum was gonna have a bounce back year. He's gonna be the MVP.
yeah,
Um, he's been labeled. I mean, technically, he's been labeled what the
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 next
best player in the league for how long now? Ever since he's been drafted, and he's like, oh, most improved and things like that, and like I haven't seen it. Has he won MVP?
it's really
No.
been the crowning him before he's done anything, and the
Right.
linkage with Kobe, and that to me is
Right.
it sounds distasteful as I'm saying it, but it's like
Right.
it's unfortunately. So this is my hot take, rookie of the year. I said it earlier, right here, Jovic. Get ready for it. Write it in your
Um.
calendar. That's my hot take.
Who?
Jovic right here.
He said, "Ooh,
Exactly, Jovic.
wow, yeah." I mean, whatever,
Silence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have an opinion on that, bro. Like, I just feel like you won't. I bet money you won't even if you won't even draft him in fantasy. He's not gonna. He's gonna go undrafted in fantasy. He's gonna sit in the waivers for the whole season. You might pick him up once, and you're gonna drop him right again.
Nah, nah, nah. He's actually
Um,
with all these moves that happen. He's gonna get some playing time. He's gonna get some playing time. Telling you. Listen to me. Y'all gonna be wanting to look. I'm gonna say
what's he
this.
projected?
What do you mean?
What's the projected for him? Like, what's his
I couldn't even
what's
tell you.
His odds.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. To be honest with you, I
mm,
couldn't tell you. But
I
my
respect it.
heart, I'm telling you, he's gonna ball out this year. I'm saying
I
that.
respect it. I respect it. Honestly, I mean,
As a matter of fact, what you want to look that up real quick before we get out of here?
Wait, what happened?
Should I look that up before we get out of here? You know what?
Oh,
We'll
your
save it for
odds.
a segment. Yeah, we'll save it for a segment on another episode. 'Cause I'm gonna get some research. I'm gonna go deep in it. I'm gonna prove why he's gonna take over the league.
I'm about to play some Call of Duty.
You getting Modern Warfare 3?
That shit looks super trash,
Oh
Like
man.
Warzone or
but I'm gonna get it.
that's like 2K. 2K looks trash, but I'm gonna get
Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, like, I appreciate y'all for having me. Um,
Yeah, good talks.
yeah, definitely. If you don't have anybody else, I mean, to speak sports and things like that, I mean, send me the invite, Ian.
you already
I
know.
Always
got
a pleasure.
hell
Yeah.
yeah, we've been doing this often.
And then, honestly, basketball's right around the corner, so it's gonna be a good season.
Yeah, we're drafting in 19 days.
19 days. 19 days.
Fantastic. You take food stamps, right?
Oh man.
We're not gonna go live, but I am gonna video. So then I'm gonna make a video to just drop it on the channel. I
Nice.
got a series I got going on. It's called Fantasy Countdown and
Okay.
Fantasy Rundown. And right now I have a football edition because I have two leagues that I'm running, but I'm gonna do a basketball edition where this
Yeah.
we're gonna have the best team come on and have them talk their crap, and then we're gonna have the worst team and we're gonna either trash them or we're gonna let them explain to us what happened that week. Like what can we do to help them improve and all that good stuff. So it's gonna be fun. I'm trying to make
It's
we're
good.
all trying to make this a community, have our homies on here and everybody. So we're trying to build it up. So
Nice.
yes, sir. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna actually do a little bit different today. I'm gonna end it with the intro just because I love our intro, and then I'll have the like, comment, all that stuff afterwards. So, without further ado, Love y'all. Catch y'all in the next one. And hey, man, the Heat are gonna win the finals. I'm out on that.
Puts up a